in her church. Please welcome Suzanne Givens.
Thank you, Bruce. It's so nice to be here with you today. And isn't it nice that we can meet here at Beacon Haven? It's been a while since we've been able to do that. Those of you on Zoom can't see the beautiful, inspiring view out this wall of windows in Beacon Haven's activity room. It is so inspiring and so beautiful. I guess those of you on Zoom is just going to have to come and visit Beacon Haven in order to see this beautiful view. Beacon Haven's beautiful. It's peaceful. It's serene. It's picturesque. And did you know that every room on this side of the building has a very inspiring view of the same lake from their room? All the patients' rooms down there have a view of this lake. And the two rest and study rooms here have the same view of this lake. Imagine how inspiring it must be to spend a couple of days in a rest and study room here at Beacon Haven. What a wonderful gift to give to yourself. Christmas is coming. It's a wonderful gift to give to somebody else. Imagine a couple of days with this inspiring view, just communing with your father, mother, love. Think about it. Give Beacon Haven a call. So we all know the theme of this year's annual meeting by now. So we're going to talk a little bit about God's love for us. What love is and what love does. There are so many proofs all around of God's love for us. Here at Beacon Haven, you don't have to look very far to find proofs. Christian Science nursing is a big proof of God's healing ministry of love. You know, Christian Science nursing is more than just a reflection of love. It is love's healing ministry. You and I are going to be exploring a little bit about that today, but first, I want to share with you my pathway and what led me to Christian Science nursing. And I'm going to share just a little bit of the history of Christian Science nurses training as it related to me in my time in training. My journey into Christian Science nursing, I wrote an article about this, and you can find it if you search me on JSH Online. But I'm going to share with you some things that might not be in the article. So go back with me to the 70s. I had just graduated from high school, and it was a real difficult summer for me. Now, as a Christian Scientist growing up, I loved Christian Science, and I loved attending the Sunday school. I think I was probably one of the only teenagers that read a little bit of their Bible lesson before going to school in the morning. When I was a senior in high school, I got a job that required me to work on Sunday. But I found that if I went to Sunday school with my work uniform on, I could attend Sunday school and not be late for work. So I did this for a couple of months. And then I stopped doing that. And that was the beginning of the downward spiral for me. I was unhappy. I became unhappy. I became restless. I found no peace. I stayed away from home for 2 or 3 days, lied to my mother about where I was. One day, I came home just to change clothes, and then I was out the door again. But as I headed towards the door, the thought came, why don't you sit down and read a section of the Bible lesson? I laughed. I said, I don't do that anymore. But I found myself sitting down in the chair and reading one section of the Bible lesson. And when I was done, I sat there thinking, seeing if I felt any different, if I felt inspired, if I felt happier. Nothing. So I said, see there, I told you so. It doesn't work. And I headed out the door. But, that little bit of obedience was a little crack of the wedge that led me on the pathway back. But things got worse after that. Wasn't an easy road back. I found myself in a great deal of anxiousness and having no peace whatsoever. And I remember thinking to God, why have you forsaken me? Like Jesus had said when he was on the cross. Of course, I knew he hadn't left me. We all have heard the phrase, if you don't feel close to God, who's moved? I knew God hadn't left me. In the anxiety and restlessness and unrest that I felt, the only choice at the time I felt to be free of it was to no longer live. So as I contemplated suicide, a lot of these thoughts that I'm sharing with you came back to me. God hadn't left me. I knew God hadn't left me. That was almost laughable to think that. I found God in my closet, standing in my closet in my home. I found God again. I can remember it to this day, standing in my closet, facing my clothes. And the thought came, God loves me. God doesn't see me as a bad person. God has always loved me, and that love was tangible. I felt that love. So every evening, you would find me lying on the floor of our living room with Christian Science Sentinels spread out in front of me, 4 or 5. And all evening, every evening, I would just soak up the love and the truth from those articles. They were just feeding my poor little lost soul and filling me. And I was so grateful for that love and that caring and God's taking me out of that situation that I wanted to serve him. So I figured I would be a Christian Science practitioner or become a Christian Science nurse. So in August, I applied to the Christian Science Nurses Training School in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. And I heard back from them in December and was accepted. And in January, I went back to Boston to start my Christian Science Nurses training. My grandmother was a Christian Science nurse for many years before she became a Christian Science practitioner listed in the journal. And after many years of my serving as a Christian Science nurse, my mother went into Christian Science nurses training. So we're a 3-generational Christian Science nursing family. When I went into Christian Science nursing, we were in quite a pioneering stage. I don't think we realized it at the time, but there were a lot of changes due to come in the next 2 or 3 years. When I entered training, it was on what was called the allowance program. And I didn't get paid for the work I did on the nursing floor. I got an allowance. That allowance was $16 a week. I didn't pay for room and board. That was free. In 1973, that allowance program was going to change. And this, what appeared to be a small change, opened up a lot of doors for Christian Science nurses training, for people interested in Christian Science nursing. At the time, People who were training to be Christian Science nurses worked on the nursing floor, and then they were pulled down off the Christian Science nursing floor into the classroom for a couple of hours, and they went back up on the nursing floor and finished their day of work. And that's how you got your training. These changes took the Christian Science nurse in training into the classroom for 3 months. And they focused strongly on their training and their classroom work for those 3 months. Then after those 3 months were over, 9 months, the rest of the year, they worked on the nursing floor on the job training, getting there on the job training. So what that did for so many people, I should say at the time, you had to go to a Christian Science nurses training school and stay there for 3 years. And after the 3 years, you became a graduate nurse and could enter the Christian Science Journal. Well, not everyone who might be interested in Christian Science nursing could leave their homes or their families for 3 years. So it was limited as to who could come into Christian Science nursing. At the time, there were no married people in Christian Science nursing, not too many mothers, because mothers and wives couldn't leave their homes for 3 years. So, but they could perhaps leave for 3 months. So they went for 3 months, classroom at the school, and they returned home and did their on-the-job training at their Christian Science care facilities in their hometown. What a wonderful way to open up Christian Science nursing. In my experience, you can see how God's love was manifested in his care for me. And you can see how divine love healed my situation. So let's talk a little bit about what love is and what love does. Love is God. Think about that. Love is God. I could stop there and that would be enough. The dictionary definition of God is the supreme or ultimate reality, the being perfect in power and goodness. Has any of you noticed when you look up a word in the dictionary that there is now in some words a Christian Science definition? Have any of you noticed that? Yeah. I do most of my finding of definitions online, and I go to the Webster's Dictionary. And under so many words that I have been looking up over the last 6 months, there's a Christian Science definition in that word. It says Christian Science, and then it gives a definition of what Christian Science definition of that word would be. So this is what Webster says the Christian Science definition of God is, and it's pretty on the mark. The incorporeal divine principle ruling over all as eternal spirit, infinite mind, a being having supreme value, a powerful ruler. Well, okay, I'm going to go back and say, love is God. Love is the powerful ruler of the earth. This is the truth because love is truth. We can rely on this powerful ruler. Love is the governor of the universe. We cannot separate love from God. Love as God is supreme. Love is the only presence and the only power. This is the truth because love is spirit. Love is the absolute being, our absolute being. Love is almighty, Father, supreme being. This is the truth because love is life. Love is the prime mover, universal life force, master. This is true because love is principle. In Science and Health, under the marginal heading, Inexhaustible Divine Love, we find a phrase that we all love and are very familiar with. Divine love always has met and always will meet every human need. Always has, always will. Inexhaustible divine love. Love which never tires. Love which is always energetic. Energetically loving you. Love is always enthusiastic. Love which never changes, never dies, never lessens. Love which never fails. What a gift we have in love. It's the gift of God's grace. As the gift of divine grace, we don't have to earn God's love. I didn't earn God's love as a struggling teenager, but love was still loving me. And her love was tangible. I felt so loved. And healing was the natural result. In our rule for motives and acts, we read, in science, divine love alone governs man. So, God's love is always reliable, and God's love heals. We can't do anything to lessen God's love for us or to turn off God's love. We can't do anything to turn off God's love. We can never be outside divine love's reach. Divine love alone governs us. And what is the rest of the rule for motives and acts? In science, divine love alone governs man, and a Christian scientist reflects the sweet amenities of love. The definition of amenities, something that helps to provide comfort, that which delights. I like to think of amenities as niceties, the nice things. And sometimes when I say the rule for motives acts, I say a Christian scientist reflects the sweet niceties of love. Isn't that nice? Doesn't that sound good? So you and I reflect the sweet niceties of love. And because divine love alone governs us, we are never anything less than love's manifestation. Being the manifestation of love, our actions are expressions of love. Our conversations and our communications are manifestations of love. As we reflect love, our actions and conversations are the nice things that help to comfort. As children of God, we are children of love. So, in science, we can never be anything but love in our lives in science. Love is the principle of science, which destroys all error, sickness, sin, and death. Love is infinite. It lasts through anything. Even though the senses may be telling us otherwise, love lasts through everything. because love is infinite. Love has no limits, and it is immeasurable. It is ever present. We all know that love heals. Big L love, meaning God, the divine, the infinite, the eternal. This love heals. But we can speak of the loving of love, or the love of love, little L love, doing the doing of big L, little L as the doing of big L. So big L love is the doer. Little L love is the doing. So when we speak of our thoughts, actions, and lives as manifestations of divine love, these are the little L love of the big L love, or the sweet amenities of love, the doing and actions of love. And what does it say in the spiritual interpretation of the Lord's Prayer? Love is reflected in love. So love is reflected in love. Big L love is reflected in little L love. Big L love is the doer. Little L love is the doing. Big L love is the thinker. Little L love is the thinking. Big L love is the actor. Little L love is the acting. So, if love is the actor, who is the acting? You are. Yeah, you are. That's right. If love is the thinker, who is the thinking? You are. If love is the doer, you are the doing of love. So I'm going to repeat something I said before. In science, or in other words, the divine law, God's law, the only law, in science, the reality is then you and I can never be anything less than love's manifestation. We can never be anything less than love's doing, big L love, or God. We can never be anything less than love's acting. Now, that's the truth about you and I, because it is the law of God or divine science behind it. It has the law of God or divine science behind it, the divine principle, backing it up and supporting it. Because we are the children of love, how might this love, the doing, the acting of love, show up in our lives? How might the doing and the acting of love show up in your lives? Think about that a minute. In what ways has the sweet niceties of love shown up in your life? How has the sweet kindnesses shown up in your lives? In what ways has these sweet niceties of love shown up in your life? Think about it. Give that a little bit of thought. And in what ways are you expressing the sweet amenities of love in your life? In what ways are you expressing the sweet amenities of love in your life? I know there's tons. I can look out at you and I can just picture all the things that I know are going on in your life that are the acting and the doing of love. So in kind and loving ways, you're being kind to others. you're helping others and you're caring for others. In what ways are you expressing the actions of love or love in action? The doing, the acting, the thinking, and kindnesses of love, the niceties of love. We've established that divine love heals. This little L love, your doing of love, your acting of love, your thinking of love can heal just as divine love heals. Your doing and your caring and your kindnesses have the potential to heal when they have their roots in divine love. So we can expect our loving and kind actions to heal when they're based on divine love. The world needs our healing love, needs our nurturing and our caring. Your community needs your nurturing and your caring. Our neighborhoods need nurturing. Love brings that peace that is the presence of the divine spirit. I want to repeat that. Love brings the peace that is the presence of the divine spirit. Love inspires us. Love heals. It settles us. Love is omni-action. Love is all acting. It motivates us, moves us forward. Love moves us into action, into loving and kind action. And every action we do and every loving thought that we have has divine love behind it, sustaining it. Love is an action word. As children of love, you are that action. You are the kind action, the loving gesture. You are the patience that waits to bless, the gentleness of affection. What blesses one blesses all. So, as you will go about your life doing these kind, loving, caring actions and gentle niceties, who is blessed? What? Who? Sorry, who? Who benefits from your kind and loving actions? And this is where you come in. Who benefits from your kind and loving actions? Who benefits? She says, all of us. Okay, true, so true. Who benefits from your kind and loving actions? You do. You do. Everybody else was right too. So you do. Your family benefits. Your neighbor, your church, your fellow church members, your loving thoughts and actions in your life benefit the house next door and the house across the street and the house behind you. It benefits the next street over. It benefits the next state. The grammar school in your neighborhood is benefited. The high school down the street, the school in the next district, and the college on the other side of town. Your downtown benefits from your kind and loving actions that you do in your lives. Co-workers and colleagues. The world benefits Your enemies. Everyone does. Your enemies. The people you are angry with. The people who might be angry with you. Those people that you are finding hard to like are benefited. And even those people who might find it hard to like you, they're benefited. Every act of love that you do and every loving thought you have helps to heal the polarization in our world. The neighbor that annoys you is blessed by the love that is unchanging, enthusiastic, and inexhaustible. Everyone whom your thoughts rest upon are thereby benefited. The Bible says, love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. Because love is God, love is truth. Love is the truth about you and me. Love is the truth about creation. Love is the truth about our neighbors. Love is the truth about our enemies. Love is the global truth. It's true. In the New International Version, we read in 1 John, anyone who leads a life of love is joined to God, and God is joined to him. Anytime you are kind and caring, you are in God's personal service. You are in her healing ministry. Being loving is giving thanks to God. The Bible also says, I will put my law in their inward parts. Do you know what that means? I will put my law in your inward parts. That means that you are hardwired for loving. You are always connected to the source. Love's live wired actions are constantly being supplied to you. You are always sending out these healing currents of love. The world needs your healing ministry. I'm going to close with a benediction from the New Century Version. But first, I'd like us just to close our eyes for a few moments and feel God's love. And then I'll close with a benediction. I bow in prayer before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth gets its true name. I pray that Christ will live in your hearts by faith, and that your life will be strong in love and be built on love. And I pray that you and all God's holy people will have the power to understand the greatness of Christ's love, how wide and how long and how high and how deep that love is. Christ's love is greater than anyone can ever know, but I pray that you will be able to know that love. Then you can be filled with the fullness of God. Amen.